Beloved soul, pause right here and breathe. You didn't arrive at this message through curiosity or coincidence. Heaven arranged this moment with the same precision it uses to shape galaxies. The Spirit of God has interrupted your path because something in your life is reaching a turning point. You have been wondering why certain plans stalled, why opportunities slipped through your fingers, why the momentum you prayed for seemed to freeze at the edge of breakthrough. Hear this, chosen one. God stopped you once more because He refuses to let you walk into a season that would sabotage your purpose. This is a divine appointment, a sacred intervention where the veil thins and His voice rises above the noise that has been clouding your clarity. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." That new thing starts with this moment. There is a stirring in your spirit that feels like both warning and invitation. It whispers through quiet nights, through delayed answers, through closed doors that make no earthly sense. You have felt it in your finances, where unexpected pressure forced you into deeper faith. You have sensed it in the tension around your relationships, where God has been pruning distractions that threaten to drain your peace. You've noticed it in the spiritual pulse of your own soul, where the fire of purpose flickers even when your circumstances look slow. That restlessness isn't failure, it's guidance. It's heaven turning your attention away from the temporary and back toward the eternal blueprint engraved over your life. Hear me, chosen one. God is not punishing you by halting your steps. He is protecting you. He is positioning you for sustainable success, long-term growth, and the kind of breakthrough that doesn't collapse under pressure. You've been asking for abundance, influence, stability, and financial increase. Yet the Lord knew that if He allowed you to run too fast, too soon, the enemy would exploit the gaps left in your preparation. So He stopped you, not to delay you, but to secure you. This pause is divine strategy. This stillness is heaven recalibrating your path. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds you, "I know the plans I have for you." These plans include your spiritual maturity, your emotional stability, your future prosperity, and even the wealth-building opportunities that align with kingdom purpose. You may have thought this was just a season of stagnation, but beloved, this is a holy audit. God is examining every corner of your heart, every motive, every ambition, ensuring nothing in you becomes a doorway for the enemy to sabotage your next level. Chosen ones face warfare that others don't because you carry influence that others can't. The Holy Spirit has been whispering through dreams, through unusual signs, through sudden unease that pushes you to slow down, pray deeper, think clearer, and step wiser. This is not the time to run ahead of God. This is the time to hear Him. You feel this word because it is for you. This moment is heaven saying, "Listen, I am speaking." The pressure you feel is not here to break you. It is here to refine you for the kind of destiny that requires discernment, spiritual intelligence, and renewed vision. Your next chapter involves purpose, stability, and the kind of divine favor that attracts responsibility, opportunity, and even financial stewardship. God is preparing you to handle increase without losing your integrity, influence without losing your humility, and blessing without losing your spiritual focus. And beloved, as you open your heart to this revelation, let this be a moment where you sow into your own spiritual growth. If this message is already stirring something deep within you, YouTube's super thanks is there not as a transaction, but as a seed of faith. Give only if your spirit feels led, and let it be a declaration that you honor the voice of God moving in your life today. Chosen one, stay with me. We are only at the beginning of what heaven is about to reveal. Beloved soul, open your heart, because what I am about to say carries weight in the spirit. God stopped you once more, not because you were unworthy, not because you were unprepared, but because heaven saw what you could not. This interruption is not a setback. It is a shield. It is a correction of your trajectory before you stepped into a chapter that would have drained your strength, distorted your peace, and damaged the calling God has been shaping inside you since childhood. You have been fighting battles that never belonged to you, chasing outcomes that looked promising on the surface, but carried spiritual traps beneath. The Lord saw where your steps were leading, and in His mercy, He put His hand on your path and said, "Not this way, chosen one, not yet." Jeremiah 29:11 still stands firm, "For I know the plans I have for you." Heaven never reacts. Heaven orchestrates. You've been asking why certain opportunities collapsed at the last moment, why relationships you prayed for suddenly dissolved, why doors that seemed perfect shut without warning. Hear this clearly. God is saving you from counterfeit progress. Some paths are profitable in the eyes of the world, but poisonous to the soul. Some people admire your light, but cannot handle its purity. Some connections promise success, but drain your spiritual capital. And some dreams, though beautiful, require a level of emotional maturity and financial wisdom you are still developing. The Lord saw the road ahead, and He loved you too much to watch you walk into a future built on unstable ground. He is refining your vision so you can handle the abundance He is preparing, not collapse under it. This is stewardship, beloved. This is divine investment strategy for your destiny. Chosen one, God stopped you because something in your spirit was being stretched faster than your character could safely carry. You have a calling that influences atmospheres, and when you walk into assignments prematurely, you attract spiritual warfare you are not yet equipped to win. The delay was not denial, it was divine training. Think of Joseph in the prison. Think of David in the wilderness. Think of Moses in Midian. Every chosen one experiences seasons where God says, "Wait, grow, strengthen, learn." These pauses feel painful because your spirit senses potential, your mind feels momentum, and your heart hungers for purpose. But heaven is teaching you something priceless. Discipline, spiritual discernment, emotional intelligence, and the kind of courage that does not buckle under sudden responsibility. You've been noticing subtle signs, haven't you? Waking at unfamiliar hours. Feeling a heaviness that doesn't come from stress, but from spiritual stretching. Losing interest in conversations that once entertained you. Feeling drawn toward privacy, reflection, and inner alignment. These are not random moods. These are indicators that the Holy Spirit is repositioning your heart. God is pruning away what cannot travel with you into the next dimension of purpose. When your spirit outgrows your environment, everything around you starts to feel tight. Conversations feel shallow. Friendships feel distant. Familiar routines feel draining. That tension is not failure. It is elevation. It is heaven expanding your identity to match the assignment He is preparing. Hear this. The enemy tried to rush you. He tried to push you into decisions made from fatigue, loneliness, and pressure. He tried to make you chase validation, relationships, and quick financial wins that would have robbed you of long-term stability. But God said no. He put His hand over your life and slowed your steps so you would not run into the trap of confusion disguised as opportunity. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." Even the weapons you almost walked into are being dismantled by God's intervention. Chosen one, think about the moments when everything inside you said, "Something is off." That intuition was divine intelligence. Heaven was alerting you to spiritual risk. You felt it in your finances, where sudden setbacks pushed you to reconsider your priorities. You felt it in relationships where people who once seemed trustworthy revealed hidden motives. You felt it in opportunities that looked shiny but carried subtle pressure. God used these tensions not to discourage you, but to sharpen your discernment. He wants you to handle increase, not lose yourself in it. Wealth without wisdom destroys. Influence without identity crumbles. Platforms without prayer become prisons. The delay you faced refined you into someone who can walk in abundance without losing your soul. Hear this, beloved. God is preparing you for sustainable blessing. Not temporary highs, not chaotic expansion, sustainable growth, divine order, emotional maturity, the kind of success rooted in spiritual integrity, kingdom purpose, and generational impact. You are being trained for influence that touches lives, not feeds ego. You are being equipped for opportunities that require clarity, resilience, and a renewed mind. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And that renewal is happening in you right now. For some of you, the stop you experienced was connected to financial decisions. You almost stepped into partnerships, investments, or commitments that looked stable but carried hidden instability. God intervened because your future involves wealth used for kingdom impact, and He cannot allow you to build your financial foundation on shaky ground. This is why you feel pulled toward wisdom, strategy, discipline, and purpose. This is why the Holy Spirit keeps whispering about stewardship, clarity, and balance. Heaven is preparing you for long-term prosperity, not fleeting success. You are being shaped into someone who can handle increase, grow influence, multiply resources, and still keep your spirit anchored in God. Let me speak deeper now. Some of you were stopped because the enemy planned a counterfeit connection, a relationship that would have derailed your calling, a partnership that would have drained your anointing, a friendship that would have smothered your confidence. God intervened because He knows the weight of your destiny. You are not born to blend in. You were born to break generational patterns, to rise above environments that settled for less, to step into purpose that touches nations, inspires hearts, and activates others into their calling. This requires strength. It requires clarity. It requires you to know who you are and who you belong to. You wondered why certain people walked away. You wondered why your spirit suddenly felt uneasy around those you once trusted. You wondered why peace dissolved in places where you once felt safe. Beloved, that was the voice of God whispering, "They cannot travel where you are going." Separation hurts, but stagnation destroys. When heaven prepares elevation, it removes weight that would hold you down. Think of Abraham leaving his homeland. Think of Ruth stepping into a field she never expected. Think of Joseph rising from a prison no one believed he would escape. Every elevation comes with a moment when God stops you, redirects you, and shifts your path. This is that moment for you. Your spirit is awakening. Your discernment is sharpening. Your purpose is aligning. Your calling is deepening. God is not delaying you. He is upgrading you. And chosen one, as this revelation settles in your heart, allow me to speak to those who feel deeply moved in this moment. If you feel gratitude rising, if you feel alignment stirring, if you sense that this message is confirmation of what God has been whispering to you for weeks, this is a sacred moment to honor what heaven is building in you. YouTube's Super Thanks is available if you feel led to plant a seed into the soil of your own transformation. Let your giving be worship, not obligation. Let it be gratitude, not pressure. Let it be purpose, not routine. God stopped you not to punish you, but to prepare you. He stopped you because something greater is coming. Something stronger, something wiser, something blessed, something sustainable, something holy. Beloved soul, lean in, because the Spirit is still speaking and the message is not finished with you. The place where you stand right now is not a detour, it is a threshold. God stopped you because the assignment ahead requires spiritual architecture you have not fully stepped into yet. This is not about delay, this is about capacity. Heaven is expanding you beyond the patterns you inherited, beyond the limits you absorbed, beyond the fears you never voiced. You are being stretched into a version of yourself that can handle influence without intimidation, leadership without exhaustion, abundance without anxiety, and responsibility without collapse. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is enlargement. God is shaping you to carry what others would crumble under. You have been wondering why conversations have shifted, why your ambitions feel different, why goals you once chased no longer satisfy your spirit. Beloved, your appetite is changing because your assignment is changing. God is pushing you beyond superficial dreams into purpose-driven vision. This is why your heart is being pulled toward deeper wisdom, long-term peace, emotional intelligence, spiritual power, and even financial stability rooted in kingdom principles rather than impulse. He is preparing you to build something lasting, a legacy, not just a lifestyle. Your calling involves strategy, your influence involves resilience, your future involves decisions that impact generations, not just seasons. Chosen one, God stopped you because your spirit was beginning to outrun your understanding. He needed to slow your steps so your discernment could grow strong roots. Influence without insight is dangerous. Blessing without boundaries becomes burdensome. Expansion without clarity becomes chaos. The Lord is training you to recognize spiritual currents beneath every choice, every voice, every opportunity. He is revealing the difference between divine favor and worldly bait, between kingdom timing and fleshly impulse, between authentic alignment and emotional attachment. This is why certain offers lost their shine. This is why enthusiasm faded in places you once admired. Your spirit is rejecting anything that cannot sustain your next level. Some of you have felt an inner pull to reorganize your life, to shift priorities, to refine your disciplines, to restructure your habits. You thought it was motivation fading in and out, but it was not. It was the Holy Spirit reshaping your internal landscape. God is preparing you for a path that requires mental clarity, strong focus, and a renewed mindset. Romans 12:2 echoes in your spirit for a reason. Transformation begins with thought. He is teaching you to elevate your thinking, to adopt the mindset of victory, to embrace the attitudes that nurture endurance, creativity, productivity, and the kind of spiritual resilience that cannot be manipulated or shaken by external pressure. Hear this, beloved. God is also protecting your emotional space. You have carried wounds that were never meant to follow you into your future. Some of those wounds came from people who mishandled your honesty. Some came from seasons where you felt unseen. Some came from dreams that died before they bloomed. And some came from disappointments that left you questioning your worth. The Lord stopped you here because He refuses to let those wounds dictate your decisions. He is healing patterns, not just moments. He is rebuilding confidence, not just comfort. He is restoring identity, not just inspiration. And every step you take now is part of your emotional restoration. You are not just becoming wiser, you are becoming whole. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is preparing divine connections that require a healthier version of you. The partnerships ahead are purposeful, not draining. The relationships coming into your life are complementary, not competitive. The people He is assigning to your path are builders, not breakers. They carry stability, wisdom, integrity, and spiritual maturity. These connections cannot be birthed in chaos. They require your readiness. They require your healing. They require your clarity. This is why God isolated you for a season, not to punish you, but to purify your perspective. Listen closely. Your spirit has been sensing unfamiliar shifts because heaven has begun rearranging things behind the scenes. Resources are aligning, opportunities are being reserved. Doors that once remained closed are starting to loosen. But God cannot let you walk through them until your inner posture matches the weight of the blessing. You are being built into someone who does not fear opportunity, who does not shrink under pressure, who does not apologize for calling, who does not compromise purpose, and who does not run from responsibility. This is maturity. This is elevation. This is spiritual adulthood. You have also been sensing a new hunger for knowledge, wisdom about finances, clarity about purpose, understanding about emotional balance, and even strategies related to personal development and long-term stability. That hunger is not random. God is cultivating a visionary mindset in you. He is preparing you to steward abundance, to build with intention, to invest in your future, and to stand confidently in the territory He has prepared. You are stepping into a season where spiritual growth and practical wisdom walk hand in hand, where faith and strategy meet, where prayer and preparation align, where revelation is partnered with responsibility. Beloved, some of you were stopped because the enemy tried to distort your identity. He attempted to convince you that delay meant denial, that silence meant separation, that struggle meant stagnation. But heaven is breaking those lies right now. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not late. You are in divine timing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reverberates over your life. To everything there is a season. And this season is about recalibration, not regression. It is about clarity, not confusion. It is about strengthening, not stalling. Let me go deeper still. God stopped you because your purpose is shifting from survival into impact. You are stepping into authority. You are stepping into influence. You are stepping into a role that touches lives, shifts environments, and brings light into places others avoid. The calling on your life is not casual. It is catalytic. You are being shaped into someone who activates change, not someone who merely adapts to it. And for that, God must ensure your foundation is unshakable. Beloved soul, if this message is stirring something deep within you, if it feels like revelation you have been waiting on without knowing how to articulate it, then let your spirit respond with gratitude. In moments like these, many chosen ones feel led to sow into their own spiritual evolution as an act of alignment and agreement. YouTube's super thanks is there only if your heart feels moved, not as obligation, but as partnership with what heaven is unfolding in you. Let your giving be intentional, meaningful, sacred. Beloved soul, stay right here, because the Spirit is pulling back another layer of the revelation. God stopped you because He is reshaping the architecture of your future from the inside out. This pause is not passive. It is active reconstruction. There are gifts in you that have been dormant, abilities you overlooked, strengths you dismissed, and potential you underestimated. Heaven is awakening capacities you never realized you carried. The Lord is increasing your spiritual sensitivity, sharpening your intuition, and deepening your perception so you can recognize opportunities that align with your purpose instead of chasing distractions that drain your energy. What feels like stillness is actually recalibration. What feels like quiet is actually instruction. And what feels like delay is actually activation, preparing to unfold in divine timing. Chosen one, God stopped you because He needed to break patterns you were too accustomed to repeating. Patterns of overgiving, patterns of self-doubt, patterns of shrinking your voice to keep peace. Patterns of carrying burdens that were never assigned to you. Patterns of saying yes when your spirit whispered no. These patterns were forming cracks in the foundation of your destiny. The Lord intervened because you cannot build a strong future on fractured habits. He is teaching you how to take up space without guilt, how to acknowledge your value without fear, how to choose purpose over approval, and how to protect the peace He has been growing inside you. You are being trained to hold your ground without apology, and to step into rooms without shrinking your presence. Beloved, God stopped you because He is guiding you into a season where your voice matters more than ever before. There are messages inside you waiting to be spoken, ideas waiting to be built, visions waiting to be executed, and assignments waiting for your readiness. This is why your mind has been stirring with creativity, clarity, and direction, even when the circumstances around you felt still. Heaven is downloading strategies that cannot be rushed. You are being prepared for influence that inspires others, for leadership that shifts atmospheres, and for responsibilities that require strength and discernment. The silence you walked through was not emptiness. It was preparation for the kind of authority that cannot be imitated or ignored. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is dismantling the internal battles that once made you question your own strength. You have faced moments where insecurity whispered louder than faith, where past failures tried to define your identity, where doubt crept in through cracks of fatigue. The Lord is healing the places where fear used to hide. He is uprooting the lies that tried to convince you that you were too late, too broken, or too unprepared. He is rewriting the narrative of your identity so you can walk into your assignment without the residue of old wounds sabotaging your confidence. This is why you have felt moments of self-confrontation. This is why memories resurfaced unexpectedly. This is why emotions felt heavier than usual. The Holy Spirit was lifting what no longer belongs in your next chapter. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is preparing you for a level of clarity that requires spiritual stillness. You were about to make decisions based on pressure, not purpose. You were close to moving in directions that offered temporary relief, but lacked long-term alignment. The Lord needed you grounded enough to hear His instruction, steady enough to receive His wisdom, and calm enough to recognize the difference between impulse and destiny. This season has forced you to slow your pace so you can listen more deeply, observe more wisely, and discern more accurately. You are not losing time. You are gaining precision. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned for acceleration that does not collapse under its own weight. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is aligning you with divine timing. The blessing you are meant to walk into is synchronized with people, opportunities, and environments that are still being arranged. Your next season is interconnected with timelines beyond your sight. Heaven is coordinating circumstances in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This is why certain moments felt out of sync. This is why your preparations seemed ahead of your surroundings. God stopped you because everything connected to your destiny must arrive in perfect order. Nothing missing, nothing rushed, nothing forced, everything aligned. Beloved, God stopped you because He is moving you from survival mode into strategy. You have spent years navigating challenges out of instinct, endurance, or necessity. But the season ahead requires intentional planning, purposeful decisions, and disciplined execution. You are being shaped into someone who builds with vision instead of reacting to circumstances. This shift is preparing you for opportunities that involve responsibility, financial stewardship, leadership development, and the capacity to sustain elevation. The Lord is teaching you how to think beyond today, how to plan for what's coming, how to cultivate stability, and how to multiply what He places in your hands. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is preparing to entrust you with connections that require emotional maturity and spiritual discernment. There are people coming into your life who carry wisdom, purpose, and sincerity. These connections cannot be mishandled or approached from old wounds. Heaven is preparing you to recognize loyalty without suspicion, to receive kindness without fear, to trust without holding back, and to build relationships without self-sabotage. You are being healed from the inside so that you can receive what is coming with an open heart instead of guarded caution. Beloved soul, there is another truth you need to hear. God stopped you because He is transitioning you into a season of higher accountability. The calling on your life demands that you rise with integrity, focus, and spiritual sharpness. The Lord is breaking the cycle of inconsistency that once held you back. He is increasing your stamina, your resilience, your mental clarity, and your spiritual discipline so you can carry the weight of the blessings He has prepared. This is why you have felt the need to reorganize your habits, refine your routines, and restructure your priorities. Heaven is preparing you for sustained elevation, not temporary promotion. And, beloved, as you receive deeper revelation, let your spirit remain open. If you feel alignment rising in your heart, if you sense gratitude for what God is awakening in you, and if you feel led to honor this moment, YouTube's Super Thanks is available for those who want to sow into their own spiritual evolution. Let it be a seed of agreement, a gesture of thanksgiving, a sign that you recognize what heaven is doing within you. Give only if your spirit calls you to, and let it be sacred, not pressured. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is activating a part of your destiny that has been dormant for years. You are entering a season where your words carry influence, your decisions carry impact, and your presence carries purpose. Heaven is preparing you to walk into environments where your uniqueness becomes your strength, where your wisdom becomes your currency, and where your resilience becomes your testimony. You are being positioned to rise, not quietly or accidentally, but intentionally, purposefully, divinely. Beloved soul, remain in this moment because the Spirit is still unfolding what has been hidden beneath years of unanswered questions. God stopped you because He is preparing to elevate your influence in ways you have not yet envisioned. You have been sensing an unusual pull toward excellence, a desire to refine your craft, an urge to expand your understanding, and a hunger to stretch beyond the limitations of your past. This is not ambition. This is awakening. Heaven is stirring skills within you that were planted long ago, but never fully nurtured. You are entering a season where the gifts God placed in you will no longer lie dormant. They are rising, maturing, sharpening, and reshaping the atmosphere around your destiny. You are becoming a vessel that carries not only revelation, but innovation, creativity, and spiritual depth. Chosen one, God stopped you because the influence He is preparing for you requires mastery, not mediocrity. Your calling demands competence, spiritual authority, emotional steadiness, and a level of excellence that cannot be manufactured quickly. You are being shaped to excel in realms others fear to enter, to bring clarity where confusion reigns, to carry peace where tension dominates, and to offer wisdom where instability prevails. This is why you have felt drawn toward learning, growing, researching, building, and refining. Heaven is preparing you to thrive in arenas that require discipline, focus, and a willingness to rise above complacency. You are being equipped to stand confidently in environments where your presence alone shifts the atmosphere. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is training you to recognize the subtle spiritual patterns that operate beneath the surface of your life. There are influences that once felt harmless but carried seeds of distraction. There are voices that sounded supportive but carried undertones of doubt. There are habits that felt comforting but were quietly draining your potential. The Lord is giving you new lenses to see beyond appearances, to discern motives without being cynical, to recognize divine timing without being impatient, and to understand spiritual dynamics without being overwhelmed. You are being taught to navigate life with supernatural sensitivity and practical wisdom, moving through decisions with clarity rather than confusion. Chosen one, God stopped you because your intuition is being elevated into spiritual insight. What once felt like random thoughts or subtle feelings is becoming a refined channel of divine communication. You will begin to sense when environments shift, when hearts change, when strategies need adjusting, and when doors are no longer meant for you. The Lord is heightening your awareness so that you can navigate opportunities without being deceived, approach relationships without being blindsided, and step into new territory without hesitation. This sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift. It is a compass guiding you toward alignment, abundance, and purpose. Beloved, God stopped you because He is preparing you to step out of cycles that once kept you anchored to the familiar. You have outgrown the places that once sheltered you. You have evolved beyond the mindsets that once defined you. You have matured past the emotional reactions that once controlled you. This is why the old patterns feel suffocating now. This is why environments you once tolerated now feel misaligned. This is why conversations that used to comfort now feel empty. Heaven is signaling that your season of inner transition is almost complete. You are being prepared to rise with a boldness you have never carried before, walking with spiritual confidence instead of fear, purpose instead of hesitation, and vision instead of confusion. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is expanding the radius of your influence. There are people you have not met yet who will need the wisdom you carry. There are rooms you have not entered yet where your voice will be sought after. There are assignments you have not seen yet that depend on your obedience. You are moving toward a future where your presence brings breakthrough, your insight brings clarity, and your journey inspires transformation. Heaven is positioning you for assignments that require emotional maturity, spiritual stability, and an identity rooted in divine truth rather than external validation. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is maturing your relationship with responsibility. You once carried burdens emotionally, absorbing pressure without structure. But now you are being shaped into someone who can carry weight with strength, manage pressure with wisdom, and face challenges without shrinking. Heaven is strengthening your internal foundation so that success does not overwhelm you, influence does not distract you, and prosperity does not distort your character. You are being developed into someone who leads with integrity, who makes decisions from discernment rather than fear, and who handles favor without pride. Chosen one, God stopped you because your heart is being prepared for new forms of provision. Not just financial increase, but relational provision, spiritual provision, emotional provision, and mental renewal. You're entering a season where support will find you, where resources will align with your purpose, where opportunities will flow toward your assignment, and where clarity will come without chaos. God is teaching you to recognize the difference between what sustains your growth and what merely soothes your discomfort. This is why certain desires shifted unexpectedly. This is why your spirit began to crave substance instead of stimulation. This is why comfort no longer feels like home. You are made for something deeper. Beloved, God stopped you because He is preparing to reveal truths that will change how you navigate your calling. There are insights coming that will reshape how you handle relationships, how you build your future, how you steward your gifts, and how you protect your spiritual energy. You will begin to see patterns in your life with new clarity, understanding how every closed door was actually divine positioning, how every delay was protection, how every discomfort was instruction, and how every shift was a sign of God's hand moving in your favor. Chosen one, your season of awakening is only beginning. God is still uncovering layers, still speaking mysteries, still guiding your spirit toward alignment, still preparing you for what's coming. You have not seen the fullness of what He is shaping inside you. You have not tasted the depth of what He is preparing around you. You have not stepped into the magnitude of what He is orchestrating for you. Beloved soul, remain attentive, because the Holy Spirit is still unraveling dimensions of purpose that have been quietly maturing beneath the surface of your journey. God stopped you because He is shifting the very way you perceive your identity. You once defined yourself by survival, by overcoming, by endurance, by resilience. But heaven is moving you into a season where your identity will be rooted not in what you survived, but in what you carry. You are stepping into a revelation of who you truly are in the eyes of God, not in the reflections of the people who misunderstood you. The Lord is awakening the part of you that remembers its divine origin, the part that knows you are crafted with intention, anointed with purpose, and destined for influence far beyond your current environment. This identity shift is not subtle. It is foundational. It is the emergence of your true spiritual stature. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is preparing you to operate from authenticity instead of adaptation. You spent years adjusting yourself to fit the expectations around you, dimming your light to avoid conflict, softening your truth to maintain harmony, and minimizing your gifts to keep others comfortable. But heaven is calling you into alignment with your full expression. You are being released from the need to apologize for your insight, your intensity, your calling, your sensitivity, your vision, or your wisdom. You will no longer shrink to be accepted. You will no longer dilute your gifting to be understood. You will no longer hide your brilliance to avoid envy. The Lord is teaching you to stand as the person He designed, not the version others preferred. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is restructuring the landscape of your discipline. You are entering a season where consistency will become your greatest spiritual weapon. Heaven is teaching you the power of routine, the strength of focus, the clarity found in order, and the transformation produced by small, daily acts of obedience. This is why you have felt a sudden urge to clean your space, organize your plans, revisit forgotten dreams, and refine the structure of your days. This is spiritual preparation, disguised as a practical motivation. The Lord is positioning you to handle blessings that require maturity, patterns that require stability, and opportunities that require readiness. You are being shaped into someone who can sustain greatness without losing balance. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is fortifying your spiritual armor. You are not being prepared for a casual assignment. You are being prepared for a calling that requires strength, discernment, and unwavering conviction. Heaven is training you to recognize spiritual tension before it escalates, to respond with wisdom rather than reaction, and to move with authority rather than fear. This elevation requires you to be anchored, not shaken by external storms. This is why you have felt the need to withdraw and rebuild your strength. This is why your spirit has been urging you to pray with more depth, to seek God with more intention, and to quiet the noise around you. He is solidifying your inner world so that nothing in the external world can destabilize your purpose. Beloved, God stopped you because He is introducing you to a new dimension of emotional clarity. You are learning to recognize when your heart is speaking from truth and when it is speaking from memory. You are learning to separate instinct from insecurity, intuition from fear, discernment from doubt. Emotional clarity is becoming part of your spiritual equipment. The situations that once overwhelmed you now reveal new insights. The conversations that once triggered you now teach you. The battles that once drained you now sharpen your wisdom. You are being shaped into someone who navigates emotional complexity with grace, not confusion. This clarity will protect you from relationships that drain, environments that suppress, and decisions that lead to regret. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is enlarging your vision regarding purpose. You once thought your calling was limited to a specific path, a specific craft, or a specific environment. But heaven is revealing that your influence will not be confined to one lane. You are multi-dimensional, multi-gifted, and multi-purposed. There are seeds inside you waiting to manifest in ways you have not imagined. The Lord is preparing you for expansion across different realms. Creativity, leadership, spiritual impact, personal development, and even financial growth rooted in kingdom principles. This is why your mind has been filled with new ideas, new possibilities, new directions, and new desires. Heaven is revealing the blueprint of your next season piece by piece, so you are not overwhelmed, but strengthened. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is preparing to shift your environment. There is territory that belongs to your calling, places where your presence unlocks breakthrough, where your voice activates change, where your gifts find room to flourish. But heaven cannot move you into that territory until your spirit is calibrated to handle the weight of Transition. You are being prepared to enter environments where your purpose becomes visible, where your value becomes undeniable, and where your influence becomes necessary. This shift requires spiritual alignment, internal stability, and a clear understanding of who you are becoming. God is shaping you for the room He will trust you with. Chosen one. As you absorb these truths, allow your spirit to remain open to the movement of heaven. If you feel a deep resonance rising within you, if this message is illuminating places in your heart you have not touched in years, if your soul feels seen and awakened, then let gratitude flow through your spirit. In moments like these, many chosen ones respond with a gesture of faith, planting into their own spiritual journey through YouTube's Super Thanks. Not as a transaction, but as a sacred acknowledgement of alignment and revelation. Give only if your heart leads you, and let your giving be an act of worship, not obligation. Beloved, God stopped you because He is preparing you to walk with a level of courage you have not yet embraced. Courage that refuses to be intimidated by uncertainty. Courage that stands firm even when clarity unfolds slowly. Courage that obeys even when the next step is invisible. Courage that trusts God more than the patterns of your past. You're being shaped into someone who walks with boldness. Not reckless boldness, but refined, intentional, spiritually anchored boldness. Heaven is preparing you to take steps others fear to take, to pursue visions others cannot see, and to remain steady in places others cannot withstand. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is awakening a new chapter of revelation. There are insights coming that will realign your priorities, reshape your decisions, and reawaken your confidence. You will begin to understand the deeper purpose behind the battles you faced, the lessons behind the delays you endured, and the wisdom behind the transitions you survived. Heaven is opening a new stream of understanding that will make your next steps clear, your next moves intentional, and your next season fruitful. Beloved soul, stay present, because what the Spirit is revealing now reaches into the deeper layers of your destiny. God stopped you because He is preparing to refine the way you interpret spiritual pressure. You once viewed resistance as a sign of obstruction, but heaven is teaching you that resistance is sometimes the weight of glory pressing against the borders of your old capacity. You are learning to distinguish between warfare that aims to break you and pressure that aims to build you. This distinction will shape how you respond to challenges in the season ahead. You will no longer panic at the first sign of tension. You will recognize when God is stretching you into new strength, when He is anchoring your faith, and when He is fortifying your spiritual endurance. This understanding will allow you to stand firmly in seasons where others would retreat, because you will know that not every shaking is meant to destroy. Some shakings are meant to activate. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is crafting a new relationship between you and your purpose. You are stepping out of the mindset of merely fulfilling tasks and stepping into the consciousness of becoming a vessel of impact. You are being positioned to operate from purpose-driven intention instead of obligation-driven routine. This shift will change how you wake, how you plan, how you engage with opportunities, how you invest your energy, and how you protect your peace. The Lord is teaching you to move from intention, not impulse, from clarity, not confusion, from strategy, not survival. You are being transformed from someone who reacts to circumstances into someone who shapes them. This is a transition into spiritual maturity that cannot be rushed or skipped. It must be cultivated through moments of stillness, revelation, and divine interruption. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is preparing you for a new form of spiritual authority. You are being trained to carry a presence that shifts atmospheres without forcing anything, a presence that carries wisdom without speaking loudly, a presence that brings clarity even before you offer counsel. This kind of authority cannot be learned through mere information. It is formed through encounters, through pruning, through quiet surrender, and through divine alignment. God is reshaping the way you stand, the way you speak, the way you perceive yourself, and the way you discern the unseen. You will begin to notice that people respond differently to your presence, not because you have changed your personality, but because heaven has increased your spiritual weight. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is preparing to rewire your relationship with peace. You once treated peace as something that depended on circumstances, but heaven is teaching you that peace is a discipline, a posture, a spiritual authority that governs the atmosphere of your mind. You are being taught how to protect your inner stillness when chaos surrounds you, how to anchor your thoughts when uncertainty rises, and how to maintain emotional stability even when life shifts unexpectedly. This is why you have felt the need to distance yourself from environments that drain, from conversations that confuse, and from patterns that break your focus. The Lord is making peace your compass, not your reward. Peace will guide your decisions, your relationships, and your spiritual strategies. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is revealing the hidden motives that once influenced your direction. There were decisions you nearly made for approval, for validation, for comfort, or for the illusion of progress. Heaven intervened to purify your motives so that your next steps will be taken from purpose, not pressure, from truth, not fear, from alignment, not desperation. You are learning to ask yourself different questions now. Not, what will they think? But what is God saying? Not, will this make me accepted? But does this keep me aligned? Not, will this bring quick results? But will this build long-term stability? This refinement of motives is preparing you for leadership that is driven by integrity and spiritual maturity. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is awakening a new sensitivity to His timing. In the past, you rushed when you were anxious, hesitated when you were afraid, and paused when you needed momentum. But now the Lord is aligning you with the rhythm of heaven. You will begin to sense when to advance, when to wait, when to release, when to embrace, when to speak, and when to remain silent. This timing is essential for the opportunities ahead. Not every door must be entered quickly. Not every connection must be pursued immediately. Not every idea must be executed instantly. Heaven is teaching you to move in sync with divine timing so that your effort becomes effective, your decisions become strategic, and your progress becomes stable. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is realigning the desires of your heart. There are passions awakening in you that did not exist before. There are dreams forming in you that feel beyond your comfort zone. There are longings rising that are not driven by ego, but by purpose. These desires are not random, they are invitations. Heaven is guiding your heart toward directions that match your assignment. Some of these desires will challenge your old assumptions. Some will outgrow the expectations others placed on you. Some will require courage you did not need in previous seasons. But every desire that aligns with your spirit is a sign that God is drawing you into a future shaped by destiny rather than limitation. Chosen one, God stopped you because He is creating a new definition of community around you. You will no longer surround yourself with people who merely fill space. The Lord is bringing individuals who strengthen your mind, who challenge your growth, who affirm your calling, and who see the value in your vision. You are being trained to recognize the difference between companions of comfort and companions of calling. Comfort companions soothe your wounds, but stunt your growth. Calling companions sharpen your spirit, refine your purpose, and encourage you to rise. Heaven is preparing you for connections that amplify your potential instead of smothering it. Beloved soul, God stopped you because He is preparing to shift the way you interpret your past. You are being guided into a season where old memories will no longer trigger pain, but reveal purpose. The situations that once confused you will now teach you. The disappointments that once discouraged you will now equip you. The betrayals that once wounded you will now strengthen your discernment. Heaven is turning your history into wisdom, not bondage. Your past is becoming your teacher, not your tormentor. This transformation will allow you to walk into your future without dragging the shadows of yesterday behind you. Chosen one, if this revelation is stirring gratitude in your heart, if your spirit is aligning with what heaven is unfolding, let this be a moment of sacred response. Many chosen souls feel led to sow into their own transformation in moments like these, using YouTube's Super Thanks as a symbolic act of faith. Not obligation, not pressure, simply agreement with what God is cultivating within you. Give only if your heart is moved, and let your giving reflect purpose, not routine. Beloved soul, linger a little longer, because heaven is still unveiling what has been waiting to surface within you. God stopped you because he is preparing to recalibrate the way you receive revelation. In the past, you leaned on intuition in moments of clarity, but now the Spirit is teaching you how to walk in revelation as a continual rhythm rather than an occasional